Hello everyone, this is the Undying Nephilim, and today I'm going to show you guys the heroes for Ordona Province and Lanayru Province, as well as the unique units and the titans and all that wonderful stuff. So, like the other hero videos I've done, I'll go through each of the heroes one by one, the unique units attached to each hero, and then at the end I will show the two titans and demonstrate some of the stuff that they're able to do. At the moment, each hero in the game, and this isn't just for these two factions, this is for all the factions, each hero has a unique unit, a unique tech, and a kind of global sort of ability that's always working if you pick them. I'll go through each one for each of the heroes. I'll also talk a little bit about the lore and background of each hero. Each hero will have 5 kind of abilities that they'll be able to use that they gain as they level up, but since active hero abilities are not in the engine yet, they are disabled for now. So I won't talk about them unless for some reason it seems important. I don't think any of these heroes have abilities that I'll go over in this video. When all the hero abilities are added into the engine and the system's working and everything, I'll probably just do a long video going through each of the heroes and all of their abilities that they can do. But for now, that won't be talked about since it won't be in the next version. So, where to begin? I guess we'll start with Ordona Province and their 4 heroes. First up is Mayor Bo, who is the leader. Well, he's kind of a leader. He's the most leader of leaders that there is in Ordona Province, because they're kind of they're not exactly a completely centralized whatever. Anyway, point is he's basically their leader figure. In Nintendo canon, he first appeared, actually his only appearance is in Twilight Princess.
Ooh.
He is the father of Ilia, who is the second hero that Ordona has. I'll get to her in a bit. And he himself rides on top of a goat, an armored goat, which is also kind of what his unique unit is based on, too.
Ooh.
I guess I will talk about his unique unit, which is the Goat Lord. I really like the Goat Lords. They are a late-game commander cavalry unit that Ordona has, because Ordona Province's commander unit right now is an infantry unit, and it's an early game one, so it's not really strong. But if you pick Mayor Bo, you'll get a really kind of strong late game commander unit that improves other goat units and cavalry that's in formation with them. Like all goat units, they can climb up cliffs, which I'll go ahead and demonstrate here. Although if you've watched the Ordona video, you've seen the goats go up cliffs, and technically I should clarify, they can't actually go up cliffs, they can only go up really steep inclines. I believe the angle cutoff is about 60 or 70 degrees, so if there's like a vertical cliff here, this guy won't be able to go up the vertical cliff. They can only go up really steep inclines. So yeah, that's the Goat Lord. It is an anti-cavalry unit also. It's got the little lance here, so they're good against fighting off other cavalry, but they're not quite as good going against infantry and creatures and other units. They're mostly good at fighting off other cavalry, but that is the Goat Lord. Pretty cool unit. I really like his overly enthusiastic voice. Anyway, Mayor Bo's unique tech is the Master Brewers, which basically makes it so that your units have a chance to heal instead of take damage when they get hit. And his kind of global unit, or his global sort of passive ability is called the Goron Brawler. Every non-mechanical unit that he trains has 10% more HP, so all of his units, other than his 2 siege weapons, because they're not organic, all of his units have 10% more HP, so they're a little beefier than if you picked the other 3 heroes, which is kind of cool. So if you pick Mayor Bo, you'll get a really good cavalry commander unit. Your units will be able to potentially heal while in combat, but not always. That ability isn't entirely working in the engine yet, so it might be something that's coming down the road as opposed to the next version. And then his his global passive is that all of his non-mechanical units have more HP, so that they last a little bit longer before they die. But anyway, that's Mayor Bo. And next up is his daughter, Ilia, who, she's not my favorite. I was going to say she's my favorite Ordanian hero. I like her a lot, but I like the other two Ordanian heroes a little bit more. Anyway, Ilia. She is the daughter of Mayor Bo. She is one of Ordona Province's most famous horse tamers, and she is so far the only ranged cavalry unit that... She herself is the only ranged cavalry unit that Ordona Province has. She's armed with the little crossbow here, so she can attack from a distance while on top of Epona. So that's pretty cool. So if you pick her and you have her unit in your army, she'll be able to hang out behind your armies and pick them off with crossbow bolts. Which also means she deals true damage because she has an armor-piercing crossbow. So that's really, really handy. If you're going against heavily armored units, you want to bring her in and have her micro her to attack the really heavily armored units so that she can keep doing consistent damage to them. So pretty nice, really fast ranged unit. You could probably kite with her pretty well if you're micromanaging her well enough. You can kind of keep her behind your armies, and as soon as enemies kind of get close, you can just retreat really fast with her and then start sniping again with her crossbow. So that's pretty cool. And her unique unit is the Rough Rider, which at the moment, and this probably will always be the case, it is the fastest cavalry unit in the entire game. It's faster than any other cavalry unit in the game. There will be some flying units that are faster than them, but other than those flying units, nothing in the game can outrun the Rough Rider. So it's a really, really fast-moving cavalry unit. It can outrun pretty much anything. So if an enemy army is retreating, you can just send a group of these to harass their soldiers as they're running away. Although their best use is harassing enemy workers. Because they're so fast, enemy workers can't get away from them. And if you happen to send them into an enemy base that is really, really well defended, and you realize you screwed up, you could just pull them out and run away really fast because they're such a fast unit. So really, really good harassment unit. They have really low armor, so they're very squishy for a cavalry unit. They can be killed relatively easily if you don't run away. But they have pretty good damage values, so not too shabby of a unique unit for the heroes. Players that really like to harass enemy units will probably like these units a lot. So that is the Rough Rider. A really, really, really fast-moving cavalry unit. Now, Hylia's unique tech is the Spiked Spurs, which further boosts the movement speed of every cavalry unit that she can train, including the Rough Rider. So, while these are already the fastest cavalry unit in the game, when you research her unique tech, they're even faster, which is pretty awesome. And Ilia's unique kind of global bonus sort of ability thing is that she can capture wild horses and then, for a discount, convert them into her unique unit. So if you're playing on a map with wild horses, you can send your units to capture them, as I'll demonstrate now. Go ahead and capture all these horses. And so as you can see now, I have control of this wild horse here. And then if you look here, you can click this and basically turn them into her unique unit, but they're cheaper if you train them this way. So if you're playing on a map with lots of horses, you can capture all the horses and start pumping out Ilia's unique unit for a lot cheaper. So as you can see, actually I'll just do all these at once. All these wild horses are now Rough Riders, which is pretty freaking awesome. So it's a little bit situational because there are some maps that don't have any wild horses on them. So if you know you're playing on a map that doesn't have wild horses, you might be encouraged to pick one of the other three heroes. But most of the maps, pretty much all of the maps, except for like the Realm of Twilight maps and the Death Mountain maps, will have wild horses of some kind on them. So if you know you're playing on a map that has wild horses, you'll probably want to pick Ilia, who can run around, capture the horses, and then convert them to these units. And another really cool thing about that is they don't require the stable to be built. So right at the start of the game, you can send out your scout to start capturing wild horses, and you can start training Hylia's unique unit at a discount early in the game. So it kind of doubly encourages that sort of harassing sort of play style. So yeah, Hylia's I keep goofing that up. Hylia is a really, really good early game hero. She really takes advantage of speed and harassment, so she's pretty cool. I really like her a lot as a hero, but I like the other two heroes that Ordona has more. So I guess I will go ahead and get to the third Ordonian hero. He is probably my favorite character from Ordona Province. I like the next hero's sort of abilities and stuff a bit more, but Russell's my man. He is... I've talked about it in the Ordonian video. I think he's one of the most underrated characters from the entire series. He's kind of cool in Twilight Princess, and he was really underused, and I'm pretty sure Nintendo's never going to dig him up and put him in another Zelda game, so I'm taking full advantage of that, of his place in the story and whatnot in Hyrule Conquest. But as a hero, he is an infantry unit. He's got a little shield, so he's a little bit resistant to ranged and pierce attacks. And him and his unique unit can both walk up steep, or they can... They'll be able to climb steep inclines like all of their goat units. So they can get into places on the map that most units can't get. So that's pretty cool. And his unique unit is the Valiant. This guy right here. It's kind of I would compare them to the Hylian Knights that the Kingdom of Hyrule has, but a little bit cheaper and a little bit squishier. But they are classified as a knight unit, and as I mentioned a few seconds ago, they can go up really steep inclines, as I'll demonstrate now. Once hero ability, or just abilities in general, have the system's been added into the engine, they'll have like these grappling hooks that they can use to get over enemy walls, so they'll be able to get past enemy walls. But for now, they can just go up steep inclines. So pretty cheap and easy to produce a knight unit. They're a mid-tier knight unit too, kind of. Actually, no, they're an early-tier knight unit. You can train them pretty early on. So for a knight unit, you can get them out pretty early, which is pretty awesome. All of the Kingdom of Hyrule's knight units are mid and late tier, so that's pretty good. If for whatever reason you're playing on a team game with the Kingdom of Hyrule and they pick Link as a hero, all of his abilities will actually buff these guys since they're classified as knights. So that's pretty awesome. So Ordona Province is a pretty good team player with if your allies playing as the Hylians and they pick Link as their hero. So that's pretty cool. So yeah, that's Russell and his unique unit. His unique tech is the Academy Tactics, and basically, once you research that, all of his infantry unit gain a damage bonus against other infantry units. So all of his militiamen, his Valiants, and all of his not cavalry units will be able to basically deal extra damage to infantry like a cavalry unit can. So that's pretty cool. So, yeah, his army, once they're upgraded fully, can deal more damage to other factions that have stronger infantry, which is pretty awesome. And then his kind of global sort of bonus ability is called the Knight of Auradon. And basically, all techs that Ordona Province has that affect infantry units are already researched. So, yeah, he's basically, he is the hero of Ordona Province that really takes full advantage of their squishy infantry, which is kind of interesting. He really goes all in on the infantry as opposed to cavalry. So that's pretty cool. It's a little bit different from the first two heroes, which are kind of goat and cavalry focused. So that's Russell, my man. Probably the guy I will pick the most when I play as Ordona, just because I like his character so much. But as far as abilities go, I think the fourth Ordonian hero is probably the best one, and that would be Ashay.
Hey!
I really like her her little voice effect there. So Ashay is a knight, kind of like Russell, although she was raised outside of Ordona Province. She has traveled all over the world, especially in Labrina. So she has a skill set that is not sort of tied to Ordona Province, and that kind of ties into her abilities too. She takes advantage of mercenary units, which is kind of a feature in the game that's not really been expanded on yet. Basically, yeah, I'll go into detail I'll go into detail about it right now. So mercenaries are going to be a whole kind of system that's going to be implemented into the game. Right now, each of the factions can just train 3 sort of generic mercenaries, but it's going to get expanded on. I really, really, really wanted to include it in this next version, but I have to, model and animate a lot of different units, and I really don't think I will be able to finish it by Christmas. So we probably won't get to see all of the mercenaries in the next version. But anyway, mercenaries will work. The way they'll work is each faction has a culture. So, like the Kingdom of Hyrule has the civilized culture, the Gorons have the barbaric culture, the Sheikah will have the shadow culture. All the factions will pick from a set of different cultures, and depending on what culture they are, they will get a unique set of mercenaries that are tied to that culture. But Ashay, she will have the unique ability to pick an extra set of mercenaries from the different cultures. So, in addition to the mercenaries that Ordona Province normally gets when you click on the tavern that you train mercenaries at, she will be able to pick from a list of other cultures and unlock a bunch of other mercenary units. So she'll be kind of unpredictable in the fact that she can pick from a different set of mercenaries that Ordona Province doesn't normally have access to. And she has her tech also decreases the cost of mercenaries. So she is a mercenary hero, and her bonuses kind of reflect that. If you pick Ashay, you'll want to focus on gathering rupees and generating rupees and pumping out mercenary units as opposed to Ordona Province's units. So that's kind of a unique spin. She won't be able to take full advantage of that in the next version because I don't think I'll have all of the mercenary units modeled and animated by Christmas, because I'm going to try and release this by Christmas. I don't think I can get it done by then. But in the future, she'll be able to really, really take advantage of mercenary units, which is really cool. Since mercenary units are not really a focus of many factions, the only other faction that has a really heavy focus on mercenaries are the Darknuts, who actually are being made after these 2 factions are done. So I probably will get the mercenaries done by the time I include the Darknut faction. But anyway, Ilia kind of has access to a bunch of units. So instead of a unique unit, she has a second hero that she can hire. It's actually a trio of heroes that are counted as 1 hero unit. She can hire 3 different heroes as 1 unit from the tavern, like a mercenary, and that is the Resistance from Twilight Princess, which is composed of Telma, Shad, and Aru.
Hey, yeah.
So they are basically a second hero unit that Ashay can train, and you can only have 1 of them out at a time. Because since she's a mercenary, since her bonus unlocks a bunch of extra mercenaries, so she kind of has a bunch of unique units, I felt that was really powerful. So instead of a unique unit that she can train, she basically gets a second hero that she can bring out. And this hero will have their own set of abilities and stuff when they're added into the engine. But basically, yeah, Telma, Shad, and Aru kind of hang out with each other and they walk around. Aru will be able to attack with his giant cannon, while Telma, if enemies engage them in a melee, Telma will kind of defend them with her quarterstaff. And Shad kind of just, stands there like a doofus. Although when you're exploiting ruins and harvesting ruins and stuff, he'll whip out his little research book and... Yeah, I'll go into more details about their abilities when they're actually added into the engine, but they're pretty cool. So yeah, Ashay, a really, really kind of weird hero unit for Ordona Province. She's a little bit different than the others, and she takes advantage of mercenaries. She doesn't have a unique unit. Instead, she brings out a unique hero, so that's different from all the other heroes so far. So that's pretty cool. So I think that's it for Ordona Province's unique heroes and the stuff attached to them. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I haven't shown. I think that's it. So we'll save their Titan for last, as usual, and we'll probably go right into Lanayru Province. So Lanayru Province has 4 heroes. First up is Queen Rutella, who was in Twilight Princess. In Nintendo's canon in Twilight Princess, she basically died at some point before the game started. It's kind of unclear if she died before or during the events of the game. Point is, she's dead when you encounter her, and she's kind of this ghost that's floating around, and you have to help her son, who is also the second Lanayru hero. But anyway, in the context of Hyrule Conquest, she was a general in the Zora Dominion. She married King Dubon the 16th, and they kind of produced Princess Ruto as an offspring. And they kind of had a really cataclysmic divorce, and that kind of resulted in their nations being split. You know, she split off with the Lanayru Province, while Dubon maintained control of the Dominion. So she is the leader figure of Lanayru Province during the events of Hyrule Conquest, until she is mercilessly killed by Sulcaris, which, if you go look through the missions and the cinematics, you can witness that. She's killed by Sulcaris, and then Laruto kind of becomes a regent queen until Rallis is old enough to inherit the throne, and then he becomes the prince of Lanayru Province. But anyway, Queen Rutella, she's not a very, like, her as a hero herself is not very good in combat. She doesn't have good armor, she doesn't deal a lot of damage, she's kind of a support hero in a way, which leads into her hero unit, which is the Guardian Maiden. And the Guardian Maiden is kind of like a bodyguard unit. If you put the Guardian Maiden in formation with either a commander unit or Queen Rutella herself, you'll see the little thing pops up above their heads. The Guardian Maiden absorbs all damage that would normally be dealt to Rutella or your commander unit. So they're kind of a unit that soaks up damage and increases the survivability of your hero, which is pretty cool, because Rutella's kind of a weak hero unit on her own. So you could train a bunch of these Guardian Maidens, and they will all die before Queen Rutella dies if they're all in formation with her. So that's pretty cool. And the same thing goes for their commander units, which are the marshals. If you put Guardian Maidens in formation, they'll soak up the damage and die before they do. So that's kind of a really cool little, sort of hero unit, I think. It's kind of situational, because without the hero, they're kind of just a generic sort of combat unit. They're not particularly impressive or unique. They kind of rely on your hero being out. But I don't know, I thought that was pretty cool, and it kind of suits the Guardian Maiden's function as a bodyguard. And that's pretty much it for the unique unit. What other things does Rutella have? Her unique tech is called Provincial Planning, and basically all of the add-ons for her buildings will be cheaper and faster to build. And her kind of global sort of passive ability thing is, if you pick her as your hero, you will start the game with a free Guardian Maiden, which is kind of good, because you can use these to kill like really hostile predators and stuff around your base at the start. So yeah, she's kind of a support sort of hero. She doesn't really boost their offensive or defensive kind of capacity of Lanayru Province. She makes it so you can build things faster, so she's kind of like Raru in that regard. She's kind of an economic sort of supporty, buildy kind of hero. But anyway, that's Queen Rutella and her unique unit and whatnot. Next up is her son, Prince Rallis, who is, he ends up taking control of Lanayru Province after he's old enough, and his hero unit's pretty cool. He's riding on top of this giant scorpion, which is in a rock. If it lives long enough, it'll turn into a Molder Rock. But yeah, he really, I'm not sure how to describe him. His kind of motif or his theme is that he's really good at going against things that are more powerful than him. So he, as a hero, deals progressively more damage to units that are of larger size than him, and that includes his unique unit too, which is the Silver Archer. Basically, him and the Silver Archer,
Ah.
the larger the unit is, the more damage they do to them. So if you're fighting against a Titan, he'll be doing way more damage to a Titan. Same thing with his unique unit. They'll do way more damage to a Titan than, say, like a Kokiri infantry unit. They're really good at going against much larger things that are much larger than themselves. So if you're fighting against a faction like the Volvagians, or a faction that uses lots of really large creature units, if you're fighting the Gorons, you'll probably want to pick Rallis because his unique unit and he himself are really good at going against larger things. So yeah, the Silver Archer is basically a ranged version of him. And, they're really good at fighting against things that are larger than themselves. They're kind of wasted on things that are smaller since they don't do more damage to them. But, yeah, I thought that was kind of a cool little theme. He's really good at taking on, I guess, enemy titans like these guys and, bosses or just really, really large units. So,
Aww.
what other things can Rallis do? Oh, yeah, his unique tech is the Silver Shields. So when you research his unique technology, I believe it gives silver shields to conscripts, the silver scale slashers, and the marshals. I might be misremembering that, but basically several of his infantry units get silver shields, which dramatically increases their armor, especially the magic resistance. So 3 of his infantry will be better at fighting against mages, which is pretty cool. Because Lanayru is completely lacking in mage units and defenses against mages. So the fact that he's able to give his units a bit of a boost against mages is pretty handy. So, and then oh yeah, his global kind of passive ability thing is called the Heart of Silver, and basically any technology that is related to silver for him costs less to research. So. Yeah, he's definitely really takes advantage of the silver theme going on with Lanayru Province more than any of the other heroes. But anyway, that is Prince Rallis and his awesome Scorpion. Next up is Idea, or General Idea Dorfan de Lanayru, but you can just call her General. She originally started as an original character, but kind of a funny story. When Breath of the Wild came out, there was another character in that game that looked kind of similar to her in design, which was a really, really sort of strange coincidence. So, how should I phrase this? Because Idea looks very similar to a character from Breath of the Wild, and just for the record, Idea, I believe, first appeared in 2011, so she predates Breath of the Wild by a lot of years. But basically, the character that looks similar to her in Breath of the Wild didn't have a living mother figure. So Idea is the mother of a certain other character from Breath of the Wild now, which is why her last name is Dorfan. And Idea is just kind of badass. That's the only way I can really put it. She is kind of like Russell. She really puts all of her focus into Lanayru Province's infantry. So, although her unique unit is not infantry, I'll get to her unique unit in a second. But basically, when buildings get destroyed while you play as Idea, it'll spawn conscripts, and her unique tech lets you train conscripts for cheaper. So if you pick Idea, you'll be able to just pump out masses and masses of really, really cheap and crappy infantry and just send waves and waves of them at their enemies. So she's a really good kind of swarmy sort of hero if you want to do that. And her unique unit kind of is sort of like that, but not exactly. Her unique unit's actually a creature unit. It is the Battle Crab, which is a returning unit from Hyrule Total War. And the Battle Crab is kind of this large, slow-moving creature unit. It's got pretty decent armor and attack value, so it's actually pretty strong considering it's not a late-game unit. But it's not quite incorporated into the engine yet. I was really hoping it'd be in the next version, but what this unit will do is it will periodically spawn these little kind of mini sort of crabs that will follow it around and attack enemy units. So it's a pretty decent creature unit that keeps spawning a bunch of really, really crappy throwaway units that it can just, send as swarms at enemies. So I think that's pretty cool. Be able to move them around. Yeah, I like the Battle Crab. I'm kind of glad I found a way to carry it over from the Total War version of the game. But the unit itself isn't a swarmy unit, but what it does is spawn a bunch of swarmy stuff. So Idea's theme is how cheap is it, and can I pump them out and send them at the enemy en masse? That's kind of her theme. So she's kind of a rushing, swarming hero if you pick her. So, yeah. That is general Idea. And I don't think there's anything else unique to her. I talked about her kind of global passive thing and her tech and her unique unit. So I'll just go on to the last hero of Lanayru Province, and that hero would be Mifa Dorafon, who is Idea's daughter. She first appeared canonically in Breath of the Wild. She is one of the 4 champions. I don't have many positive things to say about the actual characters of the champions, so I'll just kind of leave it at that. But I will say an advantage to the fact that the 4 champions have barely any character is that there's kind of a lot I can actually do with these characters. They're kind of blank slates. There's very, very few defining character traits that I kind of have to stick with to keep them true to the character. Basically, the only real things we know about Mifa in Breath of the Wild is that she likes her brother, she kind of likes Link, and she's really kind of quiet and shy. Other than that, there's like nothing about her character. Like the characters in Breath of the Wild are so devoid. It's almost kind of comical how cardboard they are. But because of that, it gives me a lot of room to really flesh out and expand her character in my canon. So I won't spoil anything, but she is the daughter of Idea Dorafon, and her brother at this point in the chronology is kind of young, so he's not a hero for Lanayru Province, but he will be a hero for another faction a lot kind of down the road. So if you're a fan of Sidon, he will be playable at some point, just not for Lanayru Province. But anyway, Mifa, she is a spearman unit, so she has an anti-cavalry thing going on, and she's also an anti-creature unit, so she's good at fighting against both cavalry and creatures. And she is really good in the water, so you'll want to... Once navies are added into the game, her and her unique unit will be a little bit better, because they perform much better in the water. Especially her unique unit, which I guess I'll get to now. Her unique unit is the light-scale Tridentier, which is this lady armed with a trident, kind of similar to Mifa's. These units are really, really, because they have a pole arm, they have a natural bonus against cavalry, but like Mifa, they're really, really good at killing creature units. So you'll want to use these to fight against creatures or wild animals. And once navies are added into the game, they will actually be really good at fighting other aquatic units. So once navies are implemented into the engine, you'll want to pick Mifa for maps that have lakes or oceans, or maps that you'll expect to fight navies on, because her unique unit is really good at damaging other aquatic units. So it's an anti-aquatic unit. At least it will be down the road. So another unique thing about her unit is that when they're not in combat, they can self-regenerate. So if they've taken damage and you kind of just move them off to the side and you keep them out of combat, their health will slowly regenerate. Same thing with Mifa herself. She can actually heal units too. So what else does Mifa have? Her unique tech is the Silver Piercer, which basically upgrades all of her spearman unit with... all of her pole-arm spearman units with silver weaponry. So kind of like Rallis, she has a bit of a silver theme going on too. And what was her passive? Okay, oh yeah, her passive was the Bane of the Gaiorg, which basically all creature units she trains has more HP. So she actually kind of boosts the creature units that Lanayru Province has, because Lanayru Province actually has a lot of creature units. So if you plan on using Gleox and Shore Serpents and the Scorpion the Scorpion Cavalry that they have, you'll probably want to pick Mipha because she actually boosts their HP. It makes them a little bit more resistant to attacks, which is pretty cool. So that is Mipha and her unique unit and whatnot, which I believe brings us to the two Titans, which are really, really awesome. At least visually, I think they're awesome. They're not as strong as the Titans of some of the other factions, but I just think they look really cool. And once the glow shader is, once the glow shader has been added to the engine, and they have like a really strong glow effect, I think they'll look even cooler than they do now. Because right now, I'm kind of irked by the fact that they don't actually glow. It kind of bothers me because in Twilight Princess, both of these Titans have a really, really noticeable glow effect, and it just makes them look so unearthly. So I'm kind of irked that they don't glow yet. I really tried to get the glow shader from some of the people that are working on Zero AD, but none of them will give me the shader, unfortunately. But it will make its way in the engine eventually, and these two lovely Titans will glow in the dark. But in the meantime, they don't. So anyway, details about the two Titans. First up is Latone, the Spirit of Ordona. And I love his sound effects. I had to listen really, really, really carefully to the sounds that he made in Twilight Princess, because it's kind of hard to make out. It's kind of hard to make out the sound effects that he makes. But I came to the conclusion that what they did to make his sounds was they took whale calls and they kind of mixed it with a sort of raspy reptilian sound. It's very strange what they did to make his sound effects, but I recreated them, you know, using whale sound effects and some sounds that reptiles make. So you can kind of hear the whale call in his sound effect, but I don't know, I really like the way he sounds. I think he's pretty awesome. He is kind of a support-ish Titan. He's not a pure support Titan. He actually can do quite a bit of damage, but he's not, you know, nearly as big or as strong as some of the other Titans, so he kind of has a support role. His first kind of main ability, kind of like the Battle Crab, how I said the ability for units to spawn little followers isn't in the engine yet. This Titan will be able to do something similar. He'll spawn a bunch of spirit goats that follow him around and attack enemies. Unfortunately, they don't auto-spawn because that feature's not in yet. So in the next version, for the time being, you're going to have to manually click on the little thing here to spawn them, and you'll be able to spawn up to 7 of them. Actually, let me go ahead and turn instant build on so that they spawn instantly, because I forgot to turn it on. So, there we go. He's able to spawn all these spirit goats. I find them kind of funny for whatever reason. And like the Titan, once the glow shader is added into the engine, they will glow brightly and they will glow in the dark. Right now they look kind of dull without any glow effects, which makes me really, really sad, because I'm so focused on the visuals of this mod that it really pains me when I know that they can look better than they look now. But yeah, they'll glow eventually. So when the system is in the engine and working properly, they will follow Latone around and they will attack enemy units that come near him and stuff of that nature. But let's go ahead and show him in combat, because that's probably the most visually interesting thing, is when a bunch of guys are fighting each other. So we'll go ahead and have this guy murder all of these Gerudo over here. I just think he looks so cool, and I love the sound effects and his little floppy ears. Floppy spirit goat ears. And here we go. It's so awesome. I had a lot of fun animating his attacks. I just love how he just pounds in the ground right there. That's so cool. Oh, it's so awesome. I love it when he like turns and swipes at enemies when there's an enemy to his side, and he kind of like turns around and swipes with his head. It's pretty cool. Anyway, that is the Auradonian Titan. Despite the fact he's nowhere near like the best Titan in the game, he's one of my favorites just because he looks so cool and I really like his abilities. And I guess I guess I'll. One of the things I really like about him is his kind of death effect, which I'll go ahead and demonstrate now. I'll force kill him. So when he dies, he turns to stone, and the stone just kind of breaks apart with dust everywhere, which I just thought was so cool. I don't know how I came up with that idea. It just like popped in my head one day. I just thought it'd be so cool if the light spirits would turn to stone when they died and just fall apart. So yeah, when he dies, he turns to stone and collapses, which I just think is really, really cool. So anyway, that is the Ordonian Titan, Litoan, and now the Lanayru Titan, which was one of the 4 light spirits from Twilight Princess, is the spirit of Lanayru, or in the Akalan language, his name is Verlantia. And he is a giant sort of ghost snake, although because the glow effects are not in the engine, he's not glowing, sadly, but he will. And all of his water effects will glow eventually too, but kind of like Litoan, he's not a very strong Titan. He's kind of a, he's actually kind of a stealth Titan. Stealth isn't in the engine yet, sadly. I was really hoping stealth would be in by the next release, but it's not. But it probably will be in the release after that, so it might not be long until we actually have stealth and camouflage in the engine. But basically, I'll kind of demonstrate it here. You won't be able to do this in the next release, but what this guy can do is turn into a puddle of water, which the enemy will not be able to recognize as him. So I don't have the actual transformation effect in either. I just kind of I kind of quickly threw this together to demonstrate it. But yeah, he'll turn into a puddle of water, and enemies won't be able to tell that it's him. And you know, when enemy armies are walking over him, you'll be able to click the button, and he'll transform back into himself and just start massacring everything around him. So he's kind of a sort of stealth Titan in a way, which is interesting. And he'll have other water-based abilities. One of his abilities will make it so he starts to boil. So he becomes really hot, and just like little bits of water are spraying all over, and enemy units that come too close to him will just keep taking burn damage from him. So he's a really sort of weird Titan in that he kind of doesn't... he doesn't really have the things you'd expect kind of a water Titan to do. He does fire damage with his boiling effect, and he can turn into an invisible puddle of water, which is kind of interesting. But I guess like the other Titan, I'll show him attacking a bunch of Gerudo up here. I'll go across this river here to demonstrate his ability to attack them, I guess. I like his little laugh sound, Twilight Princess. It's so cool. I just love watching these Titans fight. It's so great. I love the animations. I just love how he spins around, it's so great. The water flicking out everywhere. Alrighty, so that is the Lanayru Titan. I think I like the Ordonian one more, but he's still pretty cool. Like the Ordonian Titan, when he dies, he turns to stone, so I'll go ahead and demonstrate that right now. Just turns to stone and falls apart. So anyway, I think that is it for the Lanayru heroes and the Ordonian heroes and their 2 Titans. All in all, I really like these 2 factions. I've never really been a huge fan of Ordona Province, but after seeing what they're capable of in this engine compared to Medieval 2, I really think it helped fleshed them out and made them stand out more from the other factions. There's just some things I couldn't do with them in Medieval 2 that I can do in this engine. It just makes them a lot cooler. I've always had a soft spot for Lanayru Province, and I still do, and for the time being, they're probably going to be my my main faction for a while, till I get to some of my true favorites. But yeah, that's pretty much it for these 2 factions. Hopefully their heroes and their units and stuff look pretty cool. I'm going to try and release this on Christmas Day. No promises though. It might get pushed back to New Year's, but it should be out by New Year's. If you're a patron of mine, you can go ahead and download this right away and try it out. If you want to become a patron, I have a link to my Patreon in the description. You can go ahead and try these guys out right now. But yeah, I'm gonna try and get this out by Christmas. Exodarian and Iron Wolf and I are trying to get a few last minute things to work. We're trying to fix. There's still a few sound effect problems I need to fix with Lanayru Province. The walking sound effects for their creatures I haven't put in yet, so I need to do little things like that, some sound things here and there. The Goron bases are working pretty much perfectly, though. I actually might make a video either tomorrow or probably by Sunday, sometime in the next 2 or 3 days. I'll make a video showing the Goron bases, because the Goron bases are just the coolest thing ever. If you played Battle for Middle Earth, you'll kind of have an idea of how the Goron bases work. So I'll go ahead and probably make a video about that sometime in the next few days. Just a short little video showing how the Goron bases work, because they're so cool. Again, if you're a patron, you can go ahead and test it out for yourself. But yeah, I think that's it. So I guess stay tuned for a little tiny video on the Gorons, and stay tuned for this to release hopefully on Christmas Day, but definitely by New Year's. So yeah, hopefully they looked cool, and hopefully you guys will enjoy them when they come out. Anyway, thank you guys for listening, and I hope you guys have a good one.